One tiny red pixel on the security feed, Daniel Yates thought. In the 2 years I've poured into this place could go up in smoke tonight. Sunset Shore had been open for just 6 weeks. 25-year-old Daniel, chef, owner, janitor, accountant, had poured every dime and dream into the cozy bistro tucked between a yoga studio and a dry cleaner in Riverton, Oregon. Most nights he slept 4 hours, taste-tested sauces at dawn, and rewired light fixtures at midnight. A real security team? Not in the budget. Instead, he'd mounted 4 bargain basement cameras and fed them into a battered iPad that lived on a shelf in his closet-sized office. Rain hammered the alley. It was a slow Tuesday, the kind of night when people huddle under blankets instead of ordering creme brulee. Daniel, half-dozing, scrolled through archived footage. A sudden blip, then the screen filled with the image of a petite line cook hauling a bulging duffel toward the back door. The bag moved. No way. He yanked on a windbreaker, grabbed his keys, and sprinted outside. 10 yards separated the kitchen door from the dumpsters. Wet asphalt gleamed under the street lamp. The cook froze, eyes wide, clutching the duffel as though it were a life raft. "Kayla, right?" Daniel said, breath fogging in the cold. "Open the bag." "It's not what you think," she stammered. The duffel squirmed. A thin whimper escaped. Daniel's pulse spiked. "Open it." Kayla knelt in the puddles, unzipped the bag, and revealed a baby, maybe 2 months old, blinking up at the rain. "What's his name?" Daniel asked, stunned. "Max," she whispered. "Please don't call the cops. I couldn't leave him alone." The kitchen door banged open. Sous Chef Tony poked his head out. "Boss, register's balanced. You comin'?" 2 minutes, Daniel called, then turned back to Kayla. "Let's get inside." He's freezing. Between sacks of flour and jars of olives sat a flipped milk crate lined with a blanket. Nearby, a formula bottle, a cheap baby monitor, a stack of diapers. Daniel watched as Kayla laid Max down, shushing him. "You've been bringing him here every shift?" he asked. "Most nights." She wouldn't meet his eyes. "My neighbor can watch him sometimes, but she charges up front, and I'm behind." Daniel opened his mouth to press for details when the iPad chimed. Motion on another camera. 2 guys in hoodies prowled the empty dining room after closing. Daniel grabbed the walkie on his belt. "Tony, we've got company." Tony burst through the swinging doors, but the men slipped out the front before he could reach them. All Tony caught was a lion tattoo on one guy's neck. "Recon," Tony muttered. "Bet they're scoping the place for a hit." Daniel's jaw clenched. Last week, a nearby coffee shop had been cleaned out by a local crew running a protection racket. Sunset Shore was clearly on their list. He turned back to Kayla. "We'll finish this later." Daniel's studio apartment overlooked a half-finished condo complex. He spread out bills. Rent, produce invoices, a bank notice, loan payment overdue. The baby in the kitchen wouldn't leave his thoughts. He remembered his own childhood. Single mom, double shifts, little Daniel heating bottles on a hot plate for his baby brother. He remembered the fear. He fell asleep at his desk. Kayla showed up early the next morning, Max safely at a neighbor's. "You gonna fire me?" she asked while Daniel calibrated the walk-in cooler. "Do you want me to?" He replied. "I need this job. If I lose it, my landlord's already talking eviction." "I'm not firing you," he said. "But things have to change. We find a sitter, adjust your schedule, maybe tap some subsidies." "I've tried. Waiting lists are months long. And private nannies," she shook her head. "Out of my league." Daniel thought a moment. "I'll cover part of the cost. We'll figure it out." Kayla's eyes filled. "Why would you do that?" "Because I like sleeping at night," he said, "and because someone once did the same for my family." That evening, the lion-tattooed scout swaggered in for a beer. Daniel followed him out to the alley. "See something you like?" Daniel asked. "Nice spot," the guy said, flicking a cigarette into a puddle. "Be a shame if something happened to it." "I'm the owner," Daniel replied. "You want something? Talk to me straight." "You'll hear from us," the thug smirked, disappearing into the dark. Daniel couldn't shake the image of shattered windows and Kayla screaming with Max in her arms. At 3 a.m., he sat at his kitchen table drafting a battle plan. Install panic button. Replace backdoor lock. Nightly armored cash pickups. Negotiate loan extension. Find sitter for Max. He underlined number 5 twice. Within 48 hours, Daniel had hired Ridge Security for nightly patrols, ordered 2 extra cameras, and found a babysitter, Ashley, a psychology major who adored infants. Daniel paid half her fee himself. Business picked up. Tourists loved the new lemon ricotta pancakes, and Kayla, now working days, smiled more than Daniel thought possible. Friday night, the power died. Every bulb, every outlet, plunging the dining room into blackness. A flashlight beam cut through the dark, two hooded figures in the kitchen doorway. Fire inspection, one sneered, hefting a crowbar. Got paperwork? Tony asked. Right here, Crowbar said, raising the tool. Daniel stepped forward. Alarms already tripped. Cops will be here in 2. You're bluffing, Lion Tattoo hissed. Daniel clicked a key fob in his pocket. Nothing happened, but his voice didn't waver. The thugs bolted. When the real police arrived, they took a report and offered a warning. They'll be back. Kayla waited by the back door. Everything okay? She asked. We'll need more security, Daniel sighed. But no one's quitting. That's what they want. She held his gaze. He wasn't just talking about the restaurant. 3 days of calm. Then Ashley called, terrified. 2 guys are pounding on Kayla's door, yelling about money. Daniel tossed Tony the keys. You're in charge. He reached Kayla's apartment in 8 minutes. In the hallway, Lion Tattoo and Crowbar had Ashley cornered, baby Max crying in her arms. Put the kid down, Daniel said. Sign the debt paper, Crowbar growled, waving a forged loan contract, or we take collateral. Fake document, Daniel snapped. He raised his phone, snapping photos. Police are en route. Boots thundered on the stairs, an officer who lived in the building, alerted by Daniel's text. The thugs bolted but were cuffed in the parking lot. Kayla sobbed, clutching Max. Daniel wrapped an arm around them. Come stay at my place, he whispered. It's safer. Daniel's apartment exploded with baby gear, a crib from IKEA, stacks of diapers, squeaky plush toys he couldn't resist buying. Kayla apologized for the mess. Daniel secretly loved it. One night Max woke, wailing. Daniel took the baby, rocking him until the cries faded. You're a natural, Kayla murmured. Feels right, he said, surprised by the truth of it. Spring melted into summer. Kayla's double chocolate muffins, branded Mom's Secret, became a menu staple. Revenue soared. Daniel made his first big loan payment. Rich security downgraded to daytime check-ins, no more threats. Kayla turned 23 in April. Daniel arranged a rooftop dinner atop a downtown office tower. Fairy lights, tacos from their own kitchen, Max sleeping in a portable bassinet. After dessert, Daniel pulled out a small velvet box. I've been waiting for the perfect moment, he said, opening it to reveal a simple white gold ring. Kayla, will you marry me? Tears and laughter collided. Are you sure? I want to wake up to your humming and Max's giggles. I want us to build something together. Yes, she whispered. Yes. They married in June. No gowns or limos, just a courthouse ceremony, backyard barbecue behind Sunset Shore, 20 friends, and one very happy toddler in suspenders. Daniel raised a lemonade toast. We beat the dark because we stood together. Thank you for turning a tiny cafe into a family. Speech. Tony shouted. Daniel kissed his new wife. Max clapped, the crowd cheered, and the sky blushed pink. By fall, Sunset Shore ran double shifts. Kayla headed the new pastry station. Max toddled between tables like a pint-sized mayor, and Daniel finally slept more than 5 hours. One November afternoon, a city inspector arrived, part of a county-wide probe after a dairy supplier scandal. He combed through freezers, thermometers, paperwork. Kayla nearly fainted, but the report came back spotless. Outside, she hugged Daniel. You're a rock, she said. Even rocks crack, he smiled. I'll patch you with frosting. Max's first birthday featured a 3-tier cake with a caramel lion on top, Kayla's idea of poetic justice. That night, Daniel and Kayla sat on the living room floor, Max rolling a toy truck. A year ago, I was terrified of tomorrow, Kayla said. Now we get to design it, Daniel replied. A letter arrived in December. Sunset Shore had been named Riverton's best new eatery. At the awards gala, Daniel held a crystal plaque. This started as one man's dream, he told the crowd, voice thick. But it survived because of one brave mom and one unstoppable kid. Kayla beamed from the audience, Max waving a breadstick like a trophy. January numbers showed enough profit for expansion. Daniel pitched the idea over dinner. What if the second location is your bakery? Our bakery, Kayla corrected. We'll call it family secret. They clinked mugs. Max claimed his sippy cup, sealing the deal. Construction flew by. The night before opening, Kayla lay awake, nerves buzzing. Remember, Daniel whispered, pulling her close. All this started with one blinking pixel. And look where it led. She laughed softly. Good thing that pixel was red, the color of a heartbeat. Outside, dawn painted the sky gold. Inside, where fear once lived, there was only the warm smell of caramel and the steady rhythm of a family's shared future. That's the end of our story. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Your feedback means a lot to us.